one of them hits now. Heard back from Earth, we just shot a few of my ships down. It's safe to say I'm totally pissed. Wow, my cloaking device is just malfunction. Guess it's time for a sit down. This is the problem I got with humans, mostly the common man. Constantly fucking with energy they don't understand. Always thinking they got the upper hand. The G-forces from my maneuvers can snap your spine like a rubber band. I shouldn't waste my time, they ain't half as nice. Put a Red Bull in your coffin so your ghost can have wings in the afterlife. Let's rock and roll like a belly dancer's rhinestone. It was my idea to shake the pineal gland like a pine cone. My thoughts create hurricanes, tornadoes, and cyclones. A punch for me is like an avalanche of granite and limestone. You live here, now this is my home. I neuralize both your retinas, you wake up staring at the screen of your iPhone. Confused by the light plus the high tone. And now we connected from the microchip I placed next to your thigh bone. It's hard to understand cause your mind blown, but I gotta cut communication. Your government just scrambled their spy drones.
That voice speaking Sumerian, the oldest language in human history.
I can't explain it.
Yeah, it was rough, guys. Hey, but I'm here to make things just a little bit better right before the New Year's. It's your boy, Big Mike Raider. We're here in the building. We're here to talk a little bit about the Heartbreaker that just happened a few hours ago. We lose to the Indianapolis Colts 23-20. We are officially eliminated from the playoffs with one game left to go against the Broncos. That game is going to be for draft position. We'll talk about the draft position in this game. We're going to go over the box score. We're going to go over, the good, the bad, the ugly of the game. We're going to talk all about it. I'm not going to hold you guys for too long. It's a holiday. It's New Year's Eve. You know, everybody's out doing their thing, partying, getting ready for, a celebration. So I'm not going to hold you guys. We got 19 in the building. Make sure you guys like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Guys, we are 6 away from 2K. Get me there at the end of this episode. I'd appreciate it, man. Thank you guys in advance for the support all season. Thank you for the support in the off season. Man, you guys know where I stand on this one, but let me acknowledge some of the chat. We got 24 in the building. Shout out to Dominique 5 in the building. What's good, bro? Man, rough game, Heartbreaker. We got Raider Nation Unlimited featuring Wasted Talent in the building. What's good, bro? Thanks for the support. Thanks for dropping in, man. We got JD in the building. We got Kelvin Rivas in the building. What's up, Big Mike? What's up to you, man? Hope you guys, hope you're having a good New Year's Eve and a safe New Year's Eve. And I hope you and everybody out there have a safe and celebratory New Year's Eve for sure. Let's see. We got just another DJ. What up, Big Mike? Thanks for popping in, man. Let's see. We got Brian Rodriguez. Good evening. Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to you. And people who are overseas, you guys are probably already getting your celebration on. Anybody who's watching worldwide, I don't know how many that are out there across the pond and beyond. Happy New Year. You're in 2024. Let us know how it is. And we'll be there soon, man. We got Joey Chic in the building. Happy New Year's, Big Mike. Thanks for popping in. We got El Matic in the building. Big Mike, what's going on, bro? So, bro, let's talk about the game, man. We got 28 in the building. Make sure you guys like the thumb, hit the sub, share with your folks, all the good stuff. Let's get to 2K, like I said. But let's talk about the game, right? I got the box score right here. We got Aiden O'Connell, 30 for 47, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, sacked twice, 96 quarterback passer rating. Not a bad game from Aiden O'Connell. Zamir White, 20 carries, 71 yards, pedestrian type of game. We're definitely missing a guy like Josh Jacobs for this game. Davante Adams, 21 targets, 13 receptions, 126 yards, 9.7 yards per reception, 2 touchdowns. And then we go to the defense. Nate Hobbs led the team in tackles with 8 total, 4 solo. John Jenkins was 7. He had an excellent game. Robert Spillane was 6. Max Crosby was 6. 1 tackle for loss. And those are kind of the highlights right there. Guys, you guys know all about it. You guys know what it was, right? 35 in the building right now. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up. The offense needs help. The offense needs help. I'm not going to blame this loss on Aiden O'Connell, but the play calling was horrendous. And at this point, we're going to have to do some serious evaluations as far as who we're bringing in as the offensive coordinator. I'm still good with Antonio Pierce being our guy at head coaching. Yeah, he didn't have the perfect coaching type of game today. The Raiders did absolutely beat themselves today. It was definitely a shoot yourself in the foot type of game. Terrible timing for that kind of situation. But I will say this, man. Bo Hardigree takes the big brunt of this loss right here. Two occasions we go for it on 4th and 1, 3rd and 1, and come up short. We throw the ball. Well, one time we throw the ball, gimmick play, try to catch him off guard, and it didn't work out. Then we end up punting from there, and then on 3rd and 1, an obvious handoff to Zamir White in a shotgun formation. Terrible play calling, and it just seemed like the offense was really out of sorts. Aiden O'Connell got almost 300 yards passing, but it was, I wouldn't say in garbage time. It was in a time where you're down 10. The defense is a little bit softer in coverage, and he kind of picked apart little by little and got the score right before the buzzer, and got the onside kick and not successful. So that was tough, man. Aiden O'Connell did his thing and did what he was supposed to do, but Bo Hardigree had probably one of the worst play calling game outings in his offensive coordinator career so far. So, and it was just terrible timing for that, right? The defense played good enough to get this job done, but just didn't have the support from the offense, I think. And we didn't get a score and from the defense, which is not going to happen every game. So I'm not blaming the defense, and we really got to look for some offense. We need that offensive coordinator that can kind of turn the corner for us, man. What do you guys think about that? We got 40 in the building, 41 now in the building. Make sure you guys like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Let's see what we got right here, man. We got Hellbound in the building. He says, lose, win, tie. It's Raiders on mine. There you go, man. Raiders all day. Raiders till I die. It's always what it's going to be. Matt Marinovich agrees. He says, Bo must go. I agree. He has to go. It's time to find that offensive coordinator at the end of the season. But I will say that Bo Hardigree deserves to still be here next year. I think he does well with the quarterbacks, and he knows Aiden O'Connell. Keep that kind of that duo together. Sharpen Aiden O'Connell a little bit more. Of course, we're going to draft a guy next year. And kind of roll from there. But I want to put him back in that offensive coordinator, the quarterback's coach position, and then we roll from there. So that's where I would go with that. But Bo must go, and when we say go, meaning remove himself or get removed from that offensive coordinator position. So we got Mark Salter. It was a fun ride. Get ready for next year. Yeah, the Raiders definitely took us on a ride. Thanks for the Kansas City win. Thanks for, making it fun in December, but we came up a little bit short. And it's very disappointing considering that this defense, this team in general is better than better than the Colts to me. I still think 6 or 7 out of 10 times we're beating the Colts in a neutral situation, or even if on the road, we can beat them 6 or 7 times. They just caught us today in a bad game, but, good for them. They're still in the playoff race. And they got bragging rights for this point. We got Kevin Harrington in the building. Says salute to Big Raider. Hey, thanks for popping in, man. Thanks for the support. Hellbound says new OC, new quarterback. Absolutely. Anthony in the building. Thanks for popping in. Matt Marinovich says Wasted brought up Frank Reich. And you know what? A lot of people aren't big on him because it's a name that it's almost a bad connotation, bad taste in your mouth at this point, due to him kind of being unsuccessful in Carolina and things like that. But as an offensive coordinator, I would absolutely love to bring him in. Definitely need a seasoned, top of the line offensive coordinator that can get things done. I would absolutely like to have him on board. I would definitely like that. Who do you think could or would be the next OC, considering we keep Pierce and Champ? Like we just said, we said what's his name? Frank Reich. That's a good one. We gotta check out these coaches that are probably on the hot seat. that will be relegated down to offensive coordinators positions. I would have to keep like my eyes out for that one. I'm not too sure off the top of my head who we would go, but Frank Reich is definitely somebody who we need to roll with. And if we do draft another quarterback, you know, you kind of want to look the college route. I mean, in today's game, right? The college route, the college offensive coordinator is almost more of a hot commodity than somebody that's been in the league for a while. The game has changed so much. I remember when I was younger, it was like you got to the league, you kind of throw away all the college stuff you learned as far as running the option, RPO, things like that, spread. That wasn't a thing in the NFL at the time. Now they're taking pieces from college more than ever. So you see more of a college style offense in the NFL more than you've seen in years past. So I wouldn't even mind looking into bringing like a top of the line type of offensive coordinator from the college levels and pairing it with one of these new quarterbacks that we might pick up in the draft. Fill in a gap, whoever guy that might be for you, pair it with a Jaden Daniels, pair it with a Michael Penix Jr., and then maybe that's what we roll with. But definitely a top of the line type of offensive coordinator would be what I would like. And then Dominique 5 is kind of on the same page with me. We need a college OC. I wouldn't mind that. It just depends on who it is. Shout out to Leaky in the building. A lot of people are throwing AP under the bus. If anything, we should look at Bo and it's horrendous with the trick plays. AOC looking like a statue quarterback with his O-line, a mobility quarterback as well needed. Yeah. After this game, I definitely I really would love to have a mobile type quarterback. Now, I'm not saying somebody that's going to just take off on any given time. I mean somebody that when it's a little bit of pressure on, in the pocket, he's, staying cool, calm, and collected and taking those steps forward, moving laterally to find some extra time for him and find a guy downfield. So Aiden O'Connell just doesn't do that at this point of his career. I'm not going to say that he's not going to ever do that, but you definitely need somebody that is going to do that, now. We need that now. So I wouldn't blame AP for this one. AP, he gets some of the blame, but he's not going to get all the blame. I'm still down with AP as far as being our head coach. He did everything that we needed to do, but I would say this to keep we're talking about draft position and things like that. A lot of people want us to probably tank and stuff for draft positioning, but this team is not going to, fold for these guys for against the Broncos. They're going to keep playing. They're not worried about the draft position. They're more concerned about AP getting his shot at being a head coach. So, but we'll go into the draft order in a second. I kind of want to talk about a little bit more things before I talk about the draft positioning. I'm going to talk about kind of where we fell a little bit short, and then we'll talk about draft positioning. But yeah, we'll get into that shortly. Let me see. Jamal Williams, Bo needs to go back and be a quarterback coach. Yep, that's as simple as that, man. We definitely need to do that for sure. Matt Marinovich still need to destroy the Broncos. Both are out of the playoffs. Yep, we definitely need to do that. It's going to be for draft positioning, so we're going to have to make that happen. We're going to have to make it happen. Joey Sheik in the building. He says, "Look how far we've come with another season of max chaos. AP will be fine with a new OC and a quarterback one." Absolutely, man. And yeah, you said it perfectly, man. The distance traveled from where we came from has been very far, and that's because of AP and what he's brought to the table. And that can't be ignored. That definitely can't be ignored. We came up short today. We came up short this season as far as making the playoffs, but you got to look at the whole body of work and where we came from. We competed in late December, week 17, and we're still in the building. We're still in we're still right there to get in the dance. So, under Josh McDaniels, I don't know if we'd be in that position, to be honest with you. So, yeah, he definitely deserves the flowers. He definitely deserves his due diligence, and he definitely deserves a case to being the head coach. Let's see. Leaky in the building. He says defense had to make up for offense mistakes for the last couple of weeks. Yeah, for about a month now. It's like it seems like the offense has been a liability, and the defense. You can't ask for what more from what they were doing, man. It's tough in that situation. But one thing that's for sure, a good defense keeps you in games. Now, we've seen in years past that, it's been the other way around. We had bad defenses and good offenses, and it was like no matter what we do, we would come up short because, we're always playing from behind, and you just can't play. You'd have to play almost a perfect offensive game to win the game. So I would rather have the situation we're in now where, the defense is kind of holding a little bit more the brunt of the load, basically, and holding it down for the offense, because you're in every game in that kind of situation. And we won a lot of games we probably shouldn't have won, to be honest with you. The Chiefs game, we didn't the offense was horrendous the last 3 quarters of that game, but we still held it down. So with a good defense, you're in every game. And hopefully they build on what we did this year and go into next year for sure. Let's see. Jamal Williams says that we need some D tackles who can stop the run immediately. And let's get into that, right? Gardner Minshew, 15 for 23, 224 yards, a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, 21 carries, 96 yards, 4.6 yards per carry. He absolutely torched us at the end of that game. It was at a point where they ran the ball like 11 straight times, and they had like a long drive. And that's what I said on the morning show with Wasted, that we cannot get burnt by the run game. And that's exactly what happened. We got burnt by the run, and it really messed us up. Another thing that really messed us up was Gardner Minshew, 15 for 23, 224. Not a super, not something that's going to wow you on the stat sheet, but third downs was like the biggest problem for us, right? We couldn't get off the field on third down. They kept the chains moving. Mix that up with Jonathan Taylor getting about 5 yards a pop. It was just a bad, like the things stacked up on us, and that's how we came up short on defense. And it's harder when you got an offense that doesn't hold their end of the bargain as well. So that's kind of where we came short a little bit, is Gardner Minshew torched us on third downs. Jonathan Taylor finished the game really strong. And hey, call it what you want, guys. The refs didn't help us either. The refs didn't give us a chance. Man, I don't know about you, man, but those last couple of calls on Jack Jones was horrendous. Let's start off with the pass interference that continued the drive for the Colts late in that fourth quarter. Got a pass interference. I didn't think it was a pass interference. Horrible call. They go downfield. Now we stop them on third down. Now they're kicking a 50-yard field goal, and they call offsides on Jack Jones. When you look at the film, I've seen it. You can go on Instagram. You can see it everywhere, that he crossed the line as the ball was moving. It was simultaneously, and the ref made a bad call, called it offsides. They get 5 yards, kick a 45-yard field goal, and that pretty much iced the game. The refs did us no favors today. I'm not blaming the refs for our loss, but that was definitely they played their part on giving the Colts that game, man. What do you guys think about that? That's how I feel about it. Let me know what you guys think about it. Let's see. It says Dominic 5, look what the Ravens did. They went out and got a college offensive coordinator, Todd Monken from Georgia, and look at their offense this year. Yeah, their offense has changed a lot. They seem more dynamic. They seem explosive. They're in the new age right now. So I absolutely agree. We need to go that college route and see what's up. Let's see, but Matt Marinovich doesn't agree. Says need an experienced pro offensive coordinator. As long as he has a good resume behind him and he still wants to be in the offensive coordinator position. What I don't want, and Matt Marinovich brought up the idea that Wasted also brought up a Frank Smith offensive coordinator from the Dolphins. Now, my concern for that is, how much of him and his success on the offense is from him, Frank Smith, and not a Mike McDaniel. See, that's kind of where, similar to kind of what we were talking about years ago with Matt Nagy when he got hired by the Bears and he was offensive coordinator under the Chiefs, you know, and when he went over to the Chiefs, he what's up, bro?
Quick commercial break.
Quick commercial break. Any given Sunday sauce from Grab. Go ahead and check it out. By the way, you want to come in, bro? Sorry.
Yo.
That's my bro, man. We're chilling. I got family at the house, man. So yeah, man, say what's up to the bro.
Man, I just had to come through and mess with you, bro. I know you live, man. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in. Make sure you get some of that sauce because it is fire, though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, man. I'm out of here.
Go grab the sauce, man. Shout out to Graf. Quick commercial break. But yeah, back to what I was saying about Matt Nagy. When he was an offensive coordinator for Chiefs, got signed up by the as a head coach for the Bears, it didn't turn out so well, right? And you saw that with Eric Bieniemy. Now he's proven that that maybe he is the guy, offensive coordinator, pretty solid offensive coordinator. So I just want somebody that is proven to be that offensive coordinator and they can come in and do the job very well, man. What do you guys think about that one? Let's see. I'm gonna scroll down, man. We got a lot, and I'm falling behind. Let me see what we got. We got the legendary Sean Johnson in the building. He says, "Salute, Big Mike. Las Vegas Raiders 2024 aggressive free agency QB1 Fields, Chris Jones, Jalen Johnson, Bryce Huff, Robert Hunt, and then we attack the 2024 draft." Man, that's a lot of cap money that we're gonna have to use for that. But I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it if we need to do it. I'm all for it if we can make that happen, man. But that's a lot of cap right there. Chris Jones is going to cost us a pretty penny. Jalen Johnson, he's going to want a payday. So yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting when it's all said and done for sure. Anthony Provencio in the building says too many stalled out drives after we entered the 50 opposition territory. Yeah, that was a big problem too. We got on their territory and we got in the plus territory and just could not keep the ball rolling. So yeah, it was definitely tough, man. Let's see. Hey, in the building, he says, facts, should play 380-pound D tackle. Let's sign him. Not play him makes no sense. Yeah, I think they figured that. I don't know. Maybe they're rolling with John Jenkins. John Jenkins played well. Like I said, he had 7 tackles in this game. That I don't know, man. Maybe they're holding on to him for next year, kind of give him a good, kind of a good assessment, and they roll with him next year. Hey, but we got somebody special in the building, man. We got one of the guys who I just met, does some great work on his show. You guys know him. This is my guy, Pharaoh, in the building, man. Pharaoh, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
What's going on, man? Appreciate you for having me on. Salute to the nation, everybody in the chat, man. Hey, man, this is a collab that should have happened a long time ago.
Yes, sir. I agree, man. But dang, man, it was a disappointing game, a heartbreaker. Man, give me your assessment on the game, just from top to bottom. Everybody wants to hear what you got to say about it, man. Top to bottom. What did you think about this game? Where did we fall short?
To me, I think that, all season we've been talking about, or at least as recently as last few weeks, we talked about how the Raiders are one of the least penalized teams in the NFL, which is a crazy stat, because if you've been a Raider fan long enough, you've never seen the Raiders be in any type of statistic where they're the least penalized anything. So, but this game, I felt like there was a lot of missed opportunities. There's a lot of untimely penalties, the mistakes. It's crazy too. I know everybody's talking about that penalty on Jack Jones at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I didn't know how bad of a call that was until after. After, which is crazy.
You know what, man? In real time, I was like, wait a second. That seemed simultaneous to me. And I don't know. It made me like, oh man, what's going on? It really felt like the same, the kind of the old Raiders that we saw in years past, like last year, and it kind of made us feel that hopeless feeling, right? I felt like that. Oh man, here we go with the penalties again. Here we go with the, it really felt like that old feeling again. Like we were really getting to a point where we're getting used to not being penalized, and the defense actually making a move and making things happen, and we were just waiting for it. I felt like we were just waiting all game, like, all right, here, this is the time where it happens, you know, and it never happened.
Yeah.
And the penalties really killed us in this game. I did think the Jack Jones pass interference at the end of the fourth quarter, I
Mhm.
thought that was a bogus call. Bang, bang play.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, you want the refs to kind of keep the flags in the pockets, let the boys play. I don't know, man. What do you think about it, man?
Look, and you know what? You made a good point. You said that it felt like they were waiting for something to happen. At the end of
Yeah,
the day, like the defense can't score all the touchdowns. I mean,
yeah,
it's almost like they were waiting for the defense to get a big turnover so the Raiders can get great field position or even score off that turnover. That's
yeah,
not going to happen. At the end, you can't live like that. You can't live on as a team if you want to win in this league. I feel like the offense eventually has to come together and put a game. But I think it was a little bit too much. A lot of people talking about AOC. I know he had 299 yards, but most of the drive stalled out, whether it was
yeah,
penalties, whether it was a missed throw, where maybe AOC wasn't on the same page. And as much as I like Davante Adams, I just felt like we might have been force feeding him the ball. Like it's like, man, nah, just he's a great player. I get it. We got to give him the ball. But hey, man, if he's not open, hey, we still got a good player in Myers. Hey, you still can
yeah.
work off him. Renfro is hey, man, at this point, man,
Yeah.
if we're not going to use him, let's get rid of him. That contract is
Time to
eating
go.
up cap space. We could use that cap space on this defense. Jack Jones, I like the guy, but he did make a mistake on that penalty. That wasn't the only penalty. We could talk about how that penalty wasn't supposed to happen with him being there a little bit too early. But when I seen the replay, it was a bad call. But that
Yeah,
pass interference, he didn't have to push him. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah,
he was going out of bounds. We would have got the ball back with plenty of time back.
yeah.
It is what it is, man. I just think that hopefully we still see AP come back next year as a head coach, because I don't know if you've seen this. I don't know if you talked about this before the game. Ian Rappaport reported that Mark Davis he pretty much is. He reported that like Mark Davis wants a big name in Vegas at head coach,
Big
which
name,
is
huh?
a big name, man. Ian Rappaport, man, hey, some people might say, I don't know, but hey, he's a guy that's always dropping big news, breaking news.
Yeah,
But it was before the game. He's talking about, Mark Davis wants a big name out in Vegas. I'm not sure if he's talking about AP. He likes what AP's doing, but
yeah.
it's almost like, the old Mark Davis is coming out. He wants we've seen it time and time again. The John Grudens, Josh McDaniels, low-key's a big name as well. But it's tough. Hopefully he'll consider AP. I still want him to come back, but I don't know if you seen that report before the game.
I didn't, man. That's news to me. And here's the thing, man. If he's trying to make a big name splash in terms of NFL in the NFL world, then I don't want any part of it. But if he's going to make a big name in the Raiders world, the guy who's everybody's talking about.
Mhm.
Antonio Pierce is that guy.
Yeah.
Now, in the NFL world, Antonio Pierce might not be that guy, but he's made a name for himself as well. In this season, towards the end, he's got a lot of people backing him up. A lot of coaches, a lot of former players, a lot of current players are
Right.
backing him up right now. So, saying a big name, it's hard to tell kind of what he means by that. It's kind of tough to decipher what he means by big name. But let me get to some of the comments, man. Very interactive over here as much as I can, man. We got 91 in the building. Make sure you guys like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Bro, I think we're almost at like 2K. We got about 6 more subscribers to get to 2K. So
Hit that
hopefully we got
subscribe
there,
button.
man. Hey, let's get there. Hey, and go check out Pharaoh NFL on YouTube, man. Go check him out. He puts on a great show as well. Let's get him. I know you're about over 3,000, something like that.
Trying to get to that 4K, man. Trying to get to that 4K.
Let's get him to 4K, man. Let's make it happen, man. But T Severe in the building says we need better quarterback play. This was a DC special. Empty yards with the game out of reach. But stay away from Justin Fields. The team that drafted him and invested years into him doesn't even want him. Yeah, that it's tough. I got a question. Now I got cooked on Instagram. I got cooked on social media. I brought up a guy that the Broncos are kind of giving up on. How do you feel about bringing Russell Wilson in for the cheap 1 year, 1-year deal, maybe even 2 years for the cheap.
For the cheap. No, I get it. I'm not
Yeah.
excited, man. I you know what? I talked about this on a show with Severe and Raider Ray too as well.
Yeah.
And I threw it out there. I could see it happening. I could see
Yeah.
it happening. They talked about the connection with his his wife, you know what I mean?
Yep.
She's an entertainer, Vegas. Obviously, the Raiders are probably going to look maybe for a veteran QB possibly.
Yep.
If I could look it up, I'll look it up in a little bit, but see where the Raiders right now are ranked in the draft.
I got it pulled up.
You got it pulled up. So
Yeah.
they're probably a little bit outside of where the QBs are going to be taken every year. We always go through this, but hey, QBs, if their QBs out there, they usually get taken high within that top 5, especially this draft where everybody's talking about the QBs. So I feel like it's going to be tough to even trade up and get one. It's possible. So if you're going to plan, there you go. Tankathon right here.
Yep.
Let's see, where are the Raiders at right now? So they were 13 yesterday, and I think with today's loss, they went up 2 spots. So you see they're at number 11.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I'm a no on Russell, man. I see people in the chat saying no. I hope they don't go it, but I can see it happening. I can see it happening. I just feel like his hero ball type of style of play. I'm just like he is what he is at this point. He's 35, 36 years old. I get it. The Raiders are trying to win now, so it makes sense. But I'm not sure, man. I just don't want the Russ the year prior from Sean Payton to come in where he wants his own office and he has this huge ego and he's over here calling Marshawn from block numbers, you know what I mean? Your own teammate, you know what I mean? Big time running back Marshawn, you playing with him and you go over here calling him from a block number. I thought that was weird, you know what I mean? So hey, you know what? Let's just go out and get that QB in the draft, but I could see it happening if the Raiders feel like they can't get that QB, from the Jaden Daniels, obviously the Caleb Williams and Drake May, like those guys are going to like the top 3 from what it sounds like. But we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, my problem, not problem, but my concern is that, like you just said, free agency comes before the draft. So, and you saw what happened last year. We whiffed in free agency on who we wanted to get. We were eyeing a Tom Brady. That didn't work out. Aaron Rodgers was asking for a little bit too much money. And we ended up settling with, a Jimmy G. Now, the plan was to kind of move up in the draft. I don't know which one came first, trying to move up in the draft or Jimmy G, but we ended up not doing the ideal thing, and we were left with a Jimmy G.
Yeah.
My concern is we repeat what happened this year, and we're kind of, asked out on who we have as our quarterback because, we tried to make a move. And now we're stuck with Aiden O'Connell year 2 as the number 1 guy. And, we're a quarterback away from actually competing, which I do believe. So my thing is, if you do have a Russell Wilson who has a 98 passer rating, he had 66% completion percentage this year, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He struggled a little bit the last couple of games. And maybe that Sean Payton isn't the guy that we all think he is. The second time around is always not as good as the first time. They always say the sequel's worse than the first time. I think that Sean Payton might not be that coach that that he was with the Saints. Time has probably passed him by, and that's the same feeling I have about Jim Harbaugh. Everybody's talking about Harbaugh. I feel the exact same way. The second time might not be the best time. So that's kind of where I'm at with Russell Wilson. Am I fully endorsing this? No. What I'm saying is, hey, you got to look at it. And I know the front office is going to look at it, whether we like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's going to be one of those things they're going to look at the offseason. You got to do your due diligence, turn every rock. Now, turning every rock means looking at Justin Fields. A lot of people didn't like Justin Fields. Turning a rock, looking at Russell Wilson. Nobody likes that idea, right? But you got to turn the rock because I think he still has a little bit something in the tank to give to an NFL team for at least a year or two. And that's what we need, a year or two, to make things happen. And then wait if we can't get our quarterback. Now, we can make a move in the draft and be like, okay, and right before free agency, we moved up and say we're at the 11 or 10 spot, right? We move up to top 5, and then now we can get a Jaden Daniels. Okay, cool. Now we don't have to get a quarterback, right? But if you're not able to do that, you got to start looking at these guys. That's all I'm saying about it. I'm not fully endorsing it, but I think it's something that we at least have to consider. And I already know for sure that the front office is going to consider that, man. If you're not doing your due diligence, what are you doing in the front office in the first place? What do you think about that, bro?
No, I can see it happen. Like I said, I can see it happening. Especially, I can see Mark Davis signing off on it. I hope it's not going to come down to Mark Davis signing off. I hope they do hire somebody that can be a buffer between Mark Davis that he trusts and that's pretty knowledgeable, that's been successful to make those big decisions, along with the GM and the coach. Because I don't like the Mark Davis that's coming after the game over here talking to the head coaches for 2 hours. Like, what are you talking to him about? Like, I mean, you're talking to a guy that, let's be honest, like the coach is probably more knowledgeable than you and what you're talking about. You know what I mean? I think Mark Davis is he's just he's like the average fan at the end of the day. Obviously he owns the team, but let's keep it real. Like you should Mark Davis element. I want to get someone in the building that knows what they're doing. And if they decide that Russell can be that guy for like that 1 year, it is what it is. They'll go. I like Fields as a better option than, because at least there's a little bit of, there's a higher ceiling with Fields.
Yeah,
there's a what if factor. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna lie, watching AOC and just thinking about the quarterback play this season, man, Fields is way better than what we've seen all season.
Yeah,
way
absolutely.
better.
Yeah,
it's just the what are you going to be offering to get Fields? That's the thing. What are you going to offer? Are you going to hire? Is it going to be a second round pick? Are you willing to give up a second round pick, which is another starter on this defense, another starter, on this team, first, second round. That's a lottery pick. But that's what's going to take to get the quarterback that you want. But I'm not a real big Russell Wilson fan, but hey, if it's on the cheap, if they solidify everything around in this roster, good coaching, and we don't get the extra baggage that Russell Wilson will come with, most likely he's going to come with that. I mean, come on, that's the thing, bro. It's just that Russell Wilson, that big ego. Is he gonna? What are we gonna get from him?
Yeah,
is what I'm just saying.
Yeah, part of me believes that if he does sign with the Raiders, right? Say that happens, right? For the off chance that does happen, he has a little bit of motivation to kick the Broncos' ass twice a year.
Yeah.
So you got to consider that. But it's only for 1 year. Now, a guy like Justin Fields can eventually be possibly a long-term solution. That could be your franchise guy. Now, it didn't work with the Bears. Everybody says, we talked about this. It worked. It doesn't work with the Bears, but, they don't have the weapons we have. They don't have a Davante Adams. They don't have, a list of guys that we do have on offense. So, and the offensive line that, to kind of keep him upright. So he can be the comfortable quarterback and throw shots and also take off when he needs to. So, that's something to consider. But it all means nothing if we can, somehow move up in the draft or land the guy that we want in this year's drafting and get him our quarterback of the future. But it remains to be seen, man.
Not to cut you off. If he comes in as a cheap and he's the bridge quarterback and we still attack the draft and try to get a quarterback as well, I'm not mad at that either, man. Like if Russell Wilson is coming here for the cheap and then we still attack the draft to get a QB, hey, that's cool. That's fine with me. But if we're gonna get Russell Wilson and wait till the 6th, 7th round to draft a QB, and I'm like, come on, bro.
That's a bad move. I agree.
Man.
I agree. And wasted talent. Shout out to him. He said the same thing to where, hey, all right, if we are gonna bring in a Russell Wilson, hey, you better still attack the quarterback position because we're gonna need one after year one. We do give Russell Wilson a 1 year shot, we're still going to need that quarterback of the future. So, I agree with you, man. And it's starting to look more realistic that we're going to start looking at that kind of situation, to be honest with you, man. And it all depends on what happens in this draft position. Like it says, it shows that we would pick 11th if the season ended. But teams like Atlanta, they still got something to play for. Chicago, they could very well try to win the last game. It's not like they locked up the number 1 position from the Panthers. So they don't really care where their draft position from their own pick is. So they can mess around and win their final game. Say we lose our final game to the Broncos, which I don't think is going to happen. We can move up to as high as number 8 or 9. So
Did
then
the
we got a
Broncos
top
win
10
today?
pick.
I think
Say
they were
what?
winning. The last time I checked, the Broncos were winning. Did they end up
The
winning that game?
Broncos won. Yeah, the Broncos won their game today.
Mm.
They're 8-8 right now.
So they're still in it.
They're officially eliminated.
Oh, they're eliminated.
The Bengals and Broncos got eliminated, and us today. We got eliminated.
Wow. Okay. Did the Bengals beat the Chiefs?
No, the Chiefs won.
The Chiefs ended up winning that game. Okay, so they're up.
Yep.
Last time I checked, I got to get up on the scores. But yeah, man. Hey, well, I can see AP. I can see the Raiders coming out and playing hard for AP. It's been happening all season long, so I understand. I can see them winning that game. Matt Maravich says rather have Flacco to come to the team. What do you think of Flacco, man? I mean, he might be.
That man is gonna be 40 years old next year, bro. That man is gonna be 40 years old next year, man. And everybody will bring up
what does that
Russell
contract
Wilson's
look
age.
like, bro? What does that contract look like for Flacco? Like he's having his little resurgence.
He's had a half season resurgence. Like it's got to be super incentive based. You know what I mean? Like you gotta give him mad incentives. And I'm not gonna give him the keys. I'm not gonna give him a quarterback one. I can't give him the keys like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a tough situation. But what I will say in hindsight, we probably should have signed him at the beginning of the season because we'd be in the playoffs right now.
Flacco, man, even
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield would have been way better option than what we've been seeing. AOC, man, he seemed like a good guy. I feel like, hey, at the end of the day, he's a 4th round rookie. But man, like it's so frustrating watching him play, man. It's because the Raiders, you can see that the Raiders have an opportunity. They had an opportunity, but it's just the guy. He's a rookie, and his mobility, man, is tough to watch, man. Like,
man, that dude looks slower than me out there, bro. I'm like, man, it's the slowest dude on earth, bro. Man, it was horrible. Man, that's tough to watch, man. But shout out to Big Lil Bosco, man, my dude. We go way back, man. Big Mike, my Bulldog Trench brother. Happy New Year's to you and family. Love you, brother. Hey, love you too, man. Happy New Year's.
Salute.
Happy New Year's to your family, man. We go back like elementary school, and he was by my side.
Oh, wow.
In high school, we played football together, man. And hey, ask anybody in Pasadena, man. We was the hardest hitters in the city. Ask about us, bro. Shout out to Big Lil Bosco. That's my boy, man. We go way back, man. But hey, I want to ask you one more question about what do you expect for next week's game? You kind of mentioned about AP. They're going to play hard for him. What do you expect from Aiden O'Connell? What do you expect from this defense? What are you expecting for next week's game? I know it's really early. Both teams have nothing to play for but draft position. What are you expecting from the Raiders in general?
Man, I expect the Raiders to come out and play hard for AP. They've been playing hard ever since he's become the head coach. I mean, I don't want to say that they weren't playing hard the entire season, but it just feels like it's like a whole different level under AP, and I think that's going to continue. I think they know what's at stake, and you see Jack Jones, even though he made some mistakes today, that you could tell. Like I was mad, but I was like, damn, why'd you? But I could tell, like, bro, that's his guy, man. Like he's going all out. He does not want to lose AP as a head coach. And I think that's going to continue next week. And I think, the Broncos streak is going to continue. We've been pretty much dominating the streak ever since. But Stidham, the return of Stidham, we'll see how that looks like with Sean Payton and Stidham. But I think the Raiders take care of business at home next week.
Yeah, I checked out Stidham today. He looked like Stidham. He had flashes of brilliance, but he didn't look brilliant the whole game. They got the job done. I think they scored 16 or something like that. Didn't look great against the Chargers, but the Chargers, all you got to do is score 10 on the Chargers these days, and it's a wrap. But, I do say next week, like you said, Raiders going to keep playing hard. AP still has something to prove, man. It's not a lock for him to get this head coaching job. I don't care. We beat the Chiefs, and that felt good. But if we finish the season with 2 losses, all that momentum he gained from the Chiefs means absolutely nothing.
Right.
I think that he can very well lose this coaching spot if he loses to the Broncos this final game. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what though? I got a question for you, man, because
Yeah,
now, hey, look, at the end of the day, like the season's pretty much over for the Raiders. It's
yeah.
the off season begins today. I mean, they pretty much were eliminated. What do you think the Raiders need to improve on? Let's say if we bring back AP. I think a lot of Raider Nation would love to have AP as a head coach. There's some people that might say some other big names, and obviously I told you about the report about Ian Rappaport saying that possibly Mark Davis might go with a bigger name, but like what if AP was the head coach? What would you want to improve on this team? What are the big steps that you feel like they need to take in order to improve what we're seeing on the football field?
Well, it's gonna start with free agency, right? Who are we picking up in free agency? What kind of effect that does AP have that special magic to be that guy in free agency? Now, is he gonna bring in some key guys that can really beef up that defense, keep that offense, keep the pieces going with that offense because it just needs some good direction, I think. So if you can bring in a top of the line OC, and I kind of even I was hoping okay, we bring an OC that is from the college realm. You know what I mean? Because now
Mhm.
in today's game, you're seeing more of the college concepts in the NFL more than ever before. So
Right.
if we do pair that with a Justin Fields, would thrive in that type of situation. Say we get him, or we get a quarterback of the future through the draft. Now you're pairing them with the college OC who can kind of keep things flowing with that type of quarterback, especially with a guy like Jaden Daniels. So that's what I'm hoping for. AP, keep that same tough nosed what's the word?
Mentality.
Mentality, environment. Keep that going. Let the players kind of lead in the locker room.
Mhm.
The Max Crosby's, the Davante Adams, if he's still going to be around, let those type of guys lead and be the coach and make sure everybody's doing their job. That's kind of what I'm looking for for next year. I'm really hoping that he does get the job, man.
Yeah, nah, I hope so too. I think they need to blow up that offense, man. They
You
need
think
to.
a full blow up?
Yeah, they got to, man. It's just too
Okay.
much money for this much failure.
Yeah, you're right.
It is a good possibility where they could be like, you know what, maybe we just need to get another coach in, another system. But I'm like, hey, man, like even Davante Adams, man, like I know he had a like numbers wise, he had a big game, but hey, he's been dropping passes a little bit more than what we want to see from a guy that's getting paid 30 to 40 million a year, which I
Yeah.
think he's scheduled to make next year. It's something crazy, something lucrative.
Yep.
And then obviously we're not even using Hunter Renfro. They need to figure out. They got to figure out a way to get rid of these contracts,
Yep.
reinvest that money, and put it on the defense. I feel like with AP at head coach, I think it's going to be a whole different identity, different look. I think it's going to be more of a defensive team. Uh, hey, I like the idea of pairing a good defensive team with a young rookie QB and build that offense. Get a little bit younger on offense. If we keep Davante Adams, that's cool. But I just feel like, man, it's just like, come on, man, like it's just too much money invested in that offense for us to see that type of product on the field. I understand McDaniels wasn't it. I understand his
Yep.
system wasn't it. But it's like, man, we got all these pieces, and like we can't even hit 20 points. We can't even get to
Yeah,
20
we're
points, right?
struggling to get to. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know what
It's
I'm
tough
saying?
to watch, man. And you're right. We might need to break this up and kind of start. I wouldn't say from the ground up, but kind of start. You know, eh, you got to put some key pieces there and kind of rearrange some things. But shout out to Big Lil Bosco. He says, "What do you guys think about trading for Fields and drafting Daniels? Drafting Daniels, AP gets his guy, Champ gets his. Let them battle it
Ooh,
out."
I
I
would love
mean,
that. That's super aggressive. I would love it though.
it's really aggressive. And I will say this, man, like it just depends on how they see Fields. Is Fields 100% sure going to be your quarterback of the future? Do they see them as that? or you see him as a guy he needs a second chance and a short leash. So if you see him as a second chance, short leash kind of quarterback, then yeah, you do draft a Jaden Daniels. And on top of that, man, I don't know if you watch the University of Kansas. I'm like deep in the bag right now. University of Kansas uses 2 quarterbacks at the same time. They do like an RPO read kind of deal. So they have a quarterback as a running back. He hands it off to the other quarterback, and he can just step back and throw the ball. It throws the offense off completely. I mean, we've seen crazier concepts in the NFL years past. Why not, man? I don't know. That's like crazy way out thinking at that point. But
yeah, the closest is probably what they do in New Orleans with Derek Carr, and then they got Taysom Hill because he's so athletic. He's just like a Swiss Army knife. They kind of use him for certain packages. But for me, hey, if we get Daniels, it's really dependent. I think if we end up getting Daniels, it's because like we see an opportunity, or he drops to the Raiders, and the Raiders just couldn't pass up that opportunity to draft Daniels. That's the only way I can see it happening. But I mean, if we get Fields, I think that's just going to be our guy. I don't see us kind of like, trading up and getting Daniels after trading a lot of draft picks to get Fields, because that's what it's going to take to get Fields. Because I think that it's going to be a market for Fields. I think it's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be look at you got the Pittsburgh Steelers, you got all these teams that are kind of like Falcons, like they're gonna push that price up. So I just think that if we end up getting Fields, we're gonna have to give up some draft picks, and it's gonna just make us getting a QB early kind of hard to see. But if Daniels drops to the Raiders, then that's where I can see, like, possibly that we might get Daniels. But that's almost like a dream to a Raider fan. Like that's like the opposite of what we have right now.
Right. we absolutely suck at quarterbacks, so let's get 2 of them. You know what I mean? Like, that's how bad it has been for this whole season, man. Let me see. Shout out to T Severe. He goes, Russ played well until the organization approached him and threatened to bench him if he didn't rework his contract. Did that with lesser weapons, no run game, and a questionable offensive line. I think Severe's on my side with this one. If he's on my side with this, then I know everybody dislikes it. Because he's the Skip Bayless of Raider Nation, bro. So I already know. But hey, that's something.
I think that's a little tough. That's a little tough. But But Severe know how to get under everybody's skin. But
he does.
No, hey, look. I thought that's kind of cold-blooded, man. That tells you that how the NFL is a cold-blooded business right there.
It is,
the dude
man.
was coming off a big win against the Chiefs, and literally they went on a win streak during this time, and that's when everybody was talking about Denver turning around their season, and then the Broncos over here telling Russell Wilson to take a pay cut or rework his contract, which hey, I respect it. He was like, nah, hey, we signed a deal, and that's what we gonna stick to, and there's no reason for me to even do that. So I'm with them on that. But man, the biggest thing is hopefully we don't pay him any type of like Jimmy G money. If we took
no.
Yeah, that's come on. That was a terrible contract.
It was a horrible contract.
And if we end up giving Russell Wilson that type of contract, that's where I'm against that. But if it's a cheap contract, he's pretty much going to be a bridge QB at that point. And I don't think that's going to stop us from drafting a QB. So I don't have any problem with that.
Man, we'll see, man. We'll see. Dominic 5, he says, what's your thoughts on possibly trading for Trey Lance? He'll be cheap and still very, very young. Thoughts? I don't think we need a quarterback too. That's what I think about Trey Lance.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very green. Even when he came out of college, he had no no to little experience in college. They kind of drafted him off of one season. So it kind of threw me off that he was like kind of almost like jetpacked into being a top quarterback coming out that year. I never saw him as that. So no, I think we're good off of having a quarterback too. We need a quarterback one. Trey Lance isn't the guy. I don't know what you think, man.
Yeah, I'm not excited about Trey Lance. If they trade him for like a 6th, 7th round pick, I mean, I'm not going to be totally against. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be mad at it, but I'm not going to put all. That's not going to stop the Raiders from attacking free agency for a quarterback or attacking the draft for a quarterback. Like, it's just more of we just need to improve that room, because right now it's Brian Hoyer, Jimmy G, and AOC, which is not
That's gosh, it's the worst trio of all time, bro.
all time, man.
That's horrible. Shout out to Raider Nomad. He says the toxicity from the beginning of the season has lingered with some players. We should start there with the rebuilding. Yeah, there's still a little bit of Josh McDaniels funk in that building, to be honest with you. And it rears its ugly head every time we catch a loss. Because you start seeing the remnants of the bad decisions and things like that when we do catch a loss. And, you know, it showed a little bit of its ugly head in this game. It was tough, man. I mean, not getting a decent running back too is a problem. I think Zamir White played okay today, but I think Josh Jacobs, there was a lot of plays that Zamir White, he hit one of those holes. I thought that Josh Jacobs would probably get 20 in a lot of those cases.
If he makes a little extra cut.
Yeah.
He's
so north-south. It's like, man, he leaves so much to the imagination. It's like, man, like if JJ was out there, man, you know, he's breaking for a couple of those. So I don't know, man. I like Zamir White, but you know, last week we were really hot on him, saying, "Hey, running back by committee, running back one. Let's just pair him up with somebody else." I'm not ready to do that yet, especially after this game. So I don't know, man. What do you think, bro?
I think he helped the Raiders in negotiating with Josh Jacobs.
Yeah,
you know, like it buys them some time because now they kind of they probably feel a little bit comfortable with Zamir White since he was able to hold his own. I thought he looked good catching the ball at the backfield. You can see that speed when he gets it going north and south. I know you said north and south, but hey, man, he's pretty fast. But yeah, I see what you're saying, man. Like he's a north and south runner. He's no nonsense. He's not going to go side to side and try to shake you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I think he did help with negotiating with Josh Jacobs, because Josh Jacobs, at the end of the day, like he's had a tough season overall. Like he's injured right now. Even when he did play, he had a slow start to the season. He did pick it up a little bit, but it's not the same. He's not the same Josh Jacobs he was when he led the league in rushing. And I think that's probably going to help the Raiders maybe give him a more favorable contract, get a more favorable contract from if they're going to bring him back.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I got to bring this up, man. Usually, all right, let's bring it up. Shout out to Leo 8164, not a male cheerleader. We need a head coach, though. How do you feel about the idea of people bringing up that Antonio Pierce is just a male cheerleader and not an actual coach on the field? What is your thoughts on that, man? Because I hear it a lot from a lot of people, and I personally, no disrespect to Leo, I just find it to be a little bit ridiculous when people say that, man. What do you think about that, man?
It sounds like they hate, man. That's the first thing I think, man. I don't know. I think at the end of the day, man, this team is night and day from what we've seen from the previous regime, and a big part of that is because of AP. And you see the players playing hard for him. I understand, like, he's probably not the biggest name out there. He's not the X's and O's guy, but he gets the guys ready to play, every Sunday, And I think if he's able to get, and you kind of alluded to it a little bit, by one of the big steps to improving this team is to get that offensive coordinator position down. Maybe it's to get the right pieces around him. So I didn't get a chance to talk about it, but I think, Patrick Graham needs to come back. I love AP, but we got to bring he got to come with he's a package deal with Patrick Graham. And then obviously we got a part of upgrading that offense is replacing some of the coaches there. And, Bo, hey, man, he at points where I'm like, hey, he looks like he's calling the game, but then there's points where I'm just like it just felt like there's no reason why against the number 28th rushing defense, the Colts, and AOC has 21 attempts at halftime. I just didn't get that. I'm like, come on, man. I understand Zamir White. He ain't Josh Jacobs, but like, give him the ball, man. Hey, what happened to that tough nose, hard nose? Run the football, like protect your defense. The game really didn't get out of hand. I mean, I understand, like, it wasn't a high scoring game at halftime. Like, it's not like they went up 30-3 at halftime, so they weren't really forced to get away from the run game. I felt like they kind of got away from the run game in the first half, and from there it was just, I just felt like, that's just a sign where the Raiders need to upgrade that position. But for me, AP, just have the right people around him. We've seen it in other. Look at the Baltimore Ravens, for example. John Harbaugh is not an X's and O's guy. Like, he's a special teams coordinator, head coach,
Yep.
but he has the right pieces around him, meaning the right coordinators around him for them to be successful. Whether it's their hot shot defensive coordinator, I forgot his name. I think it's Mike McDonald, who has one of the top defenses in the league. Man, hey, it can happen. It can work, is what I'm trying to say. So I like AP at head coach. All that is just noise, man. People just hating.
I agree, man, 100%. And Leo says we need a head coach like Brian Flores. I'm gonna get into my bag a little bit, but he says he needs a head coach like Brian Flores. He would be amazing. Here's a news flash about Brian Flores. He's a Patriots guy. You want to go that route again? I don't think so. I'm not going that route. Brian Flores, he'll be good elsewhere. I think he'll eventually be somewhere else. I think maybe not this year. He's going to get another shot maybe in 2025, but I don't think he's the guy for a head coach. Not for us. I don't think it works out for us. But AP, right? He's one of those guys that, you know, he doesn't have the coaching pedigree, right? He doesn't have the resume that where he kind of started from the ground up and he took those steps, you know, one step at a time. But what he does have is he has the command presence to be a leader of men. And that's a lot of the battle as far as being a head coach. He was already a head coach in one of the best high schools in America, Long Beach Poly, powerhouse in high school football, went to the college route. He's found respect throughout. Jack Jones, Jaden Daniels called him out and thanked him in the Heisman in his Heisman speech.
Yeah.
So you got that, right? You got guys like Michael Strahan, who on TV has been praising him as a head coach, former player, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You got Marvin Lewis in the building. You got Tom Coughlin in the building, who are 100% endorsing this guy as a head coach. Why? People are asking why. Because he's a leader of men. Now, all AP needs to do is get the right pieces in those coordinator positions.
Facts.
You know, and he's gonna command the respect that is required to be a head coach from these other guys, from these coordinators who are also leader of men. He's a leader of men amongst leaders of men. It's been shown from the distance travel from when he was named the interim head coach up to this point. Now you've seen such a vast difference. The only thing that's missing is him to have a top of the line offensive coordinator, and we can make this thing happen. So as far as being a cheerleader, I think is bogus, man. No disrespect, Leo, but you know, I have to kick back at you on that one. I have to give you a little bit of resistance, man. I totally disagree with that, man. And on top of that, shout out to GA Patriot. He brought up a coach like Madden, a leader of men. Madden had no experience beforehand. You know who else had a no experience beforehand? Mike Tomlin also had no experience as a head coach before all this. And guess what? His team is 9-7 with no offense.
Yep.
So
great points.
You know, I don't know, man. Like,
great
for
point.
us to kind of pass up on a guy like Antonio Pierce to be our head coach.
I will say this.
Yeah.
If AP is not the guy, I think it's going to be a full rebuild. You got to expect that. Like, I'd rather them go do that route, because I don't want to go through a situation we get a brand new head coach and he's coaching the previous regime players, and obviously they're not happy. You know what I mean? They're like thinking about like, man, why didn't we hire AP? Why do we have to go with this Jim Harbaugh guy? Who does he think he is talking to me like this? Or whatever a head coach gets hired instead of AP. Because if you're gonna go someone outside of AP, which I think he should be the guy, then there's another aspect, is the locker room. How are they gonna take that? How are they gonna receive that? Obviously, they're gonna still show up and play, but if you're gonna go that route, just expect, Raider Nation, hey, this should be a full rebuild, blow it up. Don't even think about bringing any try to keep the main key guys as much as you can, but I think it's gonna be a full rebuild if they go with another guy. But I don't think. I don't think they're gonna. You think it's gonna be a reload? Do you feel like it's gonna be a reload if they go with the brand new head coach? I think it makes sense if you go with the brand new head coach that you blow it up. But with Mark Davis so desperately trying to win in Vegas, do you think that he's just gonna want to, like, you know what, let's run it back with a better coaching outside of AP?
Man, I think if you bring a new head coach in, man, it's going to be tough to kind of sell that to these players that are already on board. Trying to sell that to a Max Crosby, trying to sell that to these guys that are going to be around for a while. You know, like especially this defense. Now, there's going to be a lot of new pieces on this defense, but there's going to be a lot of people returning. You know, try selling that to a Jack Jones, who, you know, we're getting the best of Jack Jones, but are we going to get the best of Jack Jones if AP isn't there? You know, that's kind of what I'm looking at too. And then, yeah, that's one player, but there's a lot of people who are like fully endorsing AP. So you know, you want this defense to be playing at the same level that they have next year. You're gonna have to bring them back.
Yeah,
You're just gonna have to.
yeah.
That's just how I feel about it. Shout out to T Severe. He goes, these leadership head coaches need organizational stability. They only work in those situations, i.e., a Tomlin and John Harbaugh. They need a good infrastructure behind them, and we lack that. And then that's kind of where we need to start. We found lightning in the bottle with Antonio Pierce. Build on that so we can finally have that organizational stability. It has to start somewhere, right? The Steelers have had it historically for the last 40, 50 years, right? We can say they don't have 3 head coaches since my grandmother was born. Like, it's what it seems like, right?
Yeah.
But you know, it has to start somewhere, right? We gotta start somewhere, and I think lightning in the bottle, containing that and keeping it going with AP. We need to keep that going. Get a good offensive coordinator and let's establish some stability that we're looking for. That's kind of what I'm looking at, man. What you think, bro?
No, 100% facts. I think that's probably the main issue with the Raiders, because you start asking, why have the Raiders been bad for this long? Then you start looking at like, damn, we're hiring head coaches left almost every other year. There's so much instability with this team. You know, in order to build success, there has to be some type of stability. There has to be some type of like consistency. But you know, I think the part of me, I'm gonna be positive. I'm hoping that Mark Davis wants to build a consistent winner, and I think he understands it. And hopefully, with his comments recently when he had an interview, he said that he wanted to hire like a guy, a football mind. If he's gonna hire some inexperience, there's some inexperience in that front office, which tells me that he's really considering hiring AP and Champ Kelly. Then he wants to hire someone with experience with building teams, and that's a football mind in the building, which I love that right there. I love that. Instead of Mark Davis going to GM and coach, let's have someone even in a higher position before Mark Davis even gets to the head coach and GM. I like that separation of power, because Mark Davis has admitted that he doesn't know anything when it comes to football. He's not his father. He doesn't have the eye for talent, and you can start connecting the dots. Like, okay, if he doesn't have the eye for talent, he's not really a guy that you would want to make big time football decisions as well. So, but yeah, man, I think consistency is going to be key, and bring back AP, man. That's the start right there.
Absolutely, man. And shout out to Desert Raiders in the building. He says Jack Jones is under contract. He has no leverage on the matter. We have to consider it a little bit, because he's playing at a cornerback 1 level. And, if to me, I think if AP's gone, you lose the motivation from Jack Jones. He's going to be in another situation where he's, what he was, the same situation was when he was with the Patriots before we picked him up. Unmotivated, not really getting the best from him. And I don't want to see that, man. I want this to work out with us and Jack Jones. Jack Jones seemed like, you kind of unlock something special in him when you have the right situation. And I think we already have the right situation.
Yeah, and that Desert Raider, we can see that, we know who your guy is, man, with Jim Harbaugh on the profile pic there. So I really know you want. Hey, you know what? I was a Harbaugh guy for a while, but it's been a while since he's coaching the NFL, man. It's been like what 2011? 2011?
I think it's 13 or something like that.
Yeah, like
2013 or 14.
2014 when he was let go by the 49ers. It's been a while. But he's still coaching. He was still coaching with Michigan. I get it. Maybe he's changed up a little bit, maybe because a lot of people kind of say that Jim Harbaugh is kind of like there's an expiration date with Jim Harbaugh, because his message starts to get old. He's kind of a tough nose kind of guy. I don't know if he would be a good mix with this locker room. So that's why I'm like, hey, you know what? If he comes in, are they going to just end up blowing it up? I just feel like, right now everybody's all in on AP. Why would you go against that? Mark Davis should not make the same mistake twice. I know Bisaccia was a guy that the players were all in for, and they have full support. Bring back AP. Just give him like a 2-year, 3-year deal, whatever contract that you feel comfortable. I'm sure AP is going to jump at that opportunity because he's going to bet on himself. And I know he's going to be like, hey, man, this is my opportunity to be a head coach. And he's not going to – I feel like, hey, man, I think AP's the guy, man. AP's the guy.
Yeah, long story short, right?
Yep.
I agree, man, 100%. Shout out to Daniel Caps Keenan. He says the fans need to chill. Also, because every time if we have a bad season, they want a new coach, and you can't win when it keeps happening. Yeah, let's stick to something for once.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's stick to something for once. And that's kind of how I feel about it. Long story short, man. Shout out to Big Lil Bosco. Problem with a lot of past head coach hires, they think they're bigger than the brand. Man, that's a haymaker right there, bro. I think John Gruden felt that way. I think Josh McDaniels felt that way. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
AP is he knows that he's not bigger than the Shield. He is like, you know, he's pushing the Shield. He's pushing that mentality, the history, the what got us here, basically, you know, pushing what got us here. And I like that. He is not playing, he's not acting like he's bigger than the brand. And I do like that from him. That's one thing that I do like about AP, man.
And I'll say this too. I like the level of accountability that he's building within that team. You know what I mean? He includes himself in there along with the players. And that's how you build culture, man. That's how you build that's how you kind of build respect and trust within that locker room and just within people in general, man. I think that when you show level of accountability, people tend to trust you more.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to Eli W. Why does everybody think Harbaugh is leaving Michigan? And that's another thing, right? I think Michigan's giving him a fat payday. I think he's $125 million for 10 years. He has a clause in there. Now, I don't know if he's going to be down with that, but I don't see the Raiders after 2 splash head coaching hires that failed. They're going to top that $12.5 million for 10 years. Are you down to hire somebody for 14 to 15 million? I don't know, man.
I wouldn't, but Mark, man, you know, he got the Las Vegas, he got them deep Las Vegas pockets, man. He paid $85 million to get rid of Josh McDaniels and Ziegler. So, you know, we'll see what happens, man. I hope not. I hope that, you know, he takes a good discount on AP. I'm not sure if AP is going to be commanding that top dollar like Harbaugh.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He won't. Probably half of that. Probably a little bit less than half of that. So, you know, definitely, man. Shout out to Jason 619. I don't want another head coach with all the power. Me neither. And that's another thing, man.
Thanks.
A guy like Jim Harbaugh has the resume to kind of dictate that kind of treatment, right? Hey, I want to be the GM and the head coach. I don't want a good head coach and a bad GM, just like Wasted said this morning, man. He said it perfectly. And I think that, you know, he's going to be in a situation where maybe he is a bad GM. You know, we tried it twice. I don't want to do it a third time, man. It just doesn't work out that way. So that's the reason why. That's one of the main reasons why I don't want Jim Harbaugh on board. And you know, maybe we're kind of just spinning our wheels now. I think he's not coming. He's not coming out. I think he's going to stay with Michigan.
Right.
That's kind of how I feel about it, especially if he wins a natty on in a couple of weeks. So that's how I feel about it, man. What you think, bro?
And I'll say this too. I don't want a GM that doesn't have enough confidence to overrule the coach, because if everything is true with Mark Davis and what he said recently, he pretty much took a shot at Ziegler and said, like, hey, look, all the power was with Ziegler. It's not my fault that he didn't exercise that power. So, you know, at the end of the day, whoever we have in place, let's have that structure. The GM is going to be handling, you know, the personnel, and let the coach on the football field. Obviously, they're all going to work together to get all the right people in the building. But you know, I think that separation of power is big, man. Because, man, like that's a good point, man. You don't want to have a bad coach and then also have a bad GM because he's the GM as well. So, like, that's a terrible combination.
Definitely, man. Definitely. We get one more comment in, and I think I'm gonna wrap it up. But let's see what T Severe has to say. He says AP is like a developmental quarterback that has all the physical tools. He just needs some seasoning. Gotta let him develop, and hopefully he turns into a franchise head coach. That's the best way to describe it, man.
Man, no facts. Because I'll say this, because we've been talking about AP should be the guy, but we'll be honest here. I think his game management needs to it needs some improvement. There were times where I think it was at the end of the half against the Colts, first half, and the Colts were pretty much good with just running the ball, and it was still like a minute left. He didn't exercise the timeouts quick enough in order to save that time to get the ball back and score. Because in reality, the Raiders were going to get the ball after half. So I felt like it was too little too late. He ended up taking timeout after he let so much time go down, and at that point, it was done. But I think that right there, I think might come with experience, and I think he'll get better over time with that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And he said a developmental quarterback. The same kind of term I use is a puppy with big paws. I know you've seen one of them little puppies that got the big old paw. Like, dang, that dog's about to be big and strong, right? Like
big as hell.
Yeah, that's AP, man. He's a puppy right now with big paws. Like, let him get used to what's going on. Give him an off season to kind of, fine tune those scenarios and things like that. When he can kind of focus on those scenarios in the off season, I think he comes out next year and all that is fixed. Especially since he's got the right guys in his corner. So, puppy with big paws, I think he'll figure it out, man. Yeah. I have full 100% confidence in that he can figure things out, man. Yeah. But, man, we got 103 in the building, man. I hate to leave a bunch of people hanging, man. But, bro, I think I'm about to wrap it up. Pharaoh in the building, man. Let the folks know where they can find you. I'm sure everybody here already knows who you are and everything. But if they don't, let them know what's up, bro.
Yeah, man. Hey, where you guys can find me, man. I'm all over social media. Pharaoh NFL, PHAROAH NFL. But most importantly, if you guys are not subscribed, head over to my YouTube channel and give me a follow. I'm a Raider content creator, man. There's a whole bunch of us out here. Yeah. But hey, man, just go over and support another Raider content creator, man. Hey, I go live like a few times a week, drop some content, support me, and you won't be disappointed. But yeah, make sure to go to Pharaoh NFL, PHAROAH NFL, all over social media, including my YouTube channel. Check me out.
Definitely, man. And if you guys don't do it, man, you guys are missing out. He puts on great work. He's one of the good ones out here in the Raiders world, right? Raiders, content creator world, man. He's one of the good ones out there, man. You don't want to miss out on what he has in store, man. But with that, we got 92 in the building. Make sure you like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks, man. We are probably over 2K. I'll check it out after the show. But if I did get over 2K,
thank you right guys. There, huh? You right at the door.
I'm right at the door.
Hey, I think you might be. Hold on, let's see. Let's take a look, man. I think we got some people in the building. It's 199. You got 199. Let's see if I refresh this page. It better be at 2K. Hey, you're right there, man. You're right there.
Shoot, according to what I'm looking at right now, I'm at 1998. Let's get to 2K, man.
Hey, man, if you ain't subscribed right now, man, you better go hit that subscribe button. Get my guy over here to 2K, man. Hey, make sure to like the video.
Bro, if they're not subscribed, we got a couple of haters in here. That's all I'm saying, man. Give me the 2K, damn it.
I think it's because you brought up Russell Wilson. I think there's some haters because you brought up that Russell Wilson.
Man, hey, whatever, man. Hey, if that's why you unsubscribe or whatever, man. Hey, no love lost. Take care. Happy New Year, all that. So, man, but with that, man, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for popping in, man. We got to do this a lot more, man.
It's all good.
Great show. And guys, you guys have a great 2024. Hope you don't mind. I'm gonna get a little cheers for everybody.
Hey, man, do it right. Hey, this is 2023, man. Tomorrow's gonna be 2024. We're gonna be seeing you next year, man.
Absolutely.
Hopefully the Raiders can make some big moves, man. Hey, man, salute. I don't got nothing with me right now, but hey, man.
You're doing it in spirit, bro. It's all good. It's all good.
In spirit.
This is to everybody who's been supporting this season, off season. I've only been in this for a year, and we have thrived. We're almost at 2K. That's a salute and a cheers to you guys. Happy 2024. Here we go.
Cheers, man. Cheers. And look at this, man. This is how you know he got fire content. My guy, Mikhail 916 says, I'm not even a Raider fan, and I'm subscribed, man. Look at that, man. That should tell you everything you need to know, man. Go over there and hit that subscribe button.
Man, I appreciate you, bro. Definitely, man. And Severe says, I'm looking at it and it says 2K.
It says 2K. So, hey, we got him over 2K. Oh, that's what's up, man. Let's see. Hey, 2K subscribers, man. Hey, look at that.
There we go.
Right before
2K.
2024, man.
There we go, man. I appreciate you guys. 2K in the building, man. We'll get a little 2K celebration down the line.
Hold on, I got you. Hold on. Let me give you a 2K.
Yes, sir.
And I'm gonna give you a little, just for the Raider content creator getting 2K.
Yes, sir.
And since we've been talking about AP, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
hey,
man.
I appreciate
congratulations,
you, bro,
man. To get the 2K, man. Hey, it's only up from here, man. It's only up from here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's only up from here. And guys, believe it or not, it's only up from here with the Raiders, man. We're gonna keep it rocking. We got one more game against the Broncos, and we're gonna whoop the Broncos' ass next week, man. But until then, I'll catch you guys on the next one. You guys have a safe and happy New Year, man. You guys have a good one. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
This is one of them hits now. Heard back from Earth, we just shot a few of my ships down. It's safe to say I'm totally pissed. Wow, my cloaking devices just malfunction. Guess it's time for a sit down. This is the problem I got with humans, mostly the common man. Constantly fucking with energy they don't understand. Always thinking they got the upper hand. The G-forces from my maneuvers can snap your spine like a rubber band. I shouldn't waste my time, they ain't half as nice. Put a Red Bull in your coffin so your ghost can have wings in the afterlife. That's rock and roll like a belly dancer's rhinestone. It was my idea to shake the pineal gland like a pine cone. My thoughts create hurricanes, tornadoes, and cyclones. A punch for me is like an avalanche of granite and limestone. You live here, but now this is my home. I neuralize both your retinas. You wake up staring at the screen of your iPhone. Confused by the light plus the high tone. And now we connected from the microchip I placed next to your thigh bone. It's hard to understand cause you're mind blown, but I gotta cut communication. Your government just scrambled they spy drones.
That voice speaking Sumerian, the oldest language in human history.